Okay. Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry. Let me make sure I'm on here. No, you can't hear me? Yes? Okay. Okay, good. I got a yes. Um, Let me put this in the chat. Sorry, I had a little technicality here, difficulties here. Thank you for joining us for tonight's live. For those of you who are new here, this is our open discussion where we talk about autism and our journeys with our loved ones. It's all about sharing, learning, and supporting with one another. You can ask questions. The discussion is open. If you see someone in the chat who needs help, you're more than welcome to chime in. For those of you who don't know me, I am Nita. I'm one of the admins. Linda won't. I'm thinking she won't be with us this evening. I know she did mention something earlier that she wasn't feeling well. I'll put the link in for Mr. Charles, and there he is. Hello, Mr. Charles.
Hi, Nita. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So I forgot to click the add to stream. So I'm like, what did I do wrong? So let me say hello to everybody. Hey, Teresa, how are
Hi,
you?
hi, Teresa. Hi, Roxy.
Roxy. And there's, of course, Mr. Charles. Hey,
Kenyana.
Kenyana. Okay, that's a yes. Watching from the Philippines.
I'm
Hello
Ronald.
and welcome. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, good, good. Hey, Danielle.
Hi, Danielle. Hi,
Yes,
Beth.
finally, Beth. Hey, how are you? Glad you are doing good. All right. So again, I'm guessing Linda won't be able to join us this evening because I know she mentioned something about her not feeling well. So, but you have me and Mr. Charles. So I was thinking of a good focus topic for this evening is because this has recently happened with us is death and explaining it to someone with autism or helping them to understand what death is. For me, if you guys can give me some suggestions, we lost both my father and DeAndre's dad's father. They both passed hours. I mean, literally, maybe 3 hours apart. Um, and it's been a long 2 weeks to say the least. Um, DeAndre, now my dad was a very big part of his support circle. Um, so that part is really hard because when we go over to the house, he peeks in the room to see if Papa's there. We tried to talk to him. Well, Papa's not here anymore. And, we point up to the sky. Papa's up in heaven. So now when you ask him with either of his Papas, he'll point up. Papa Herman is up there and Papa Frank is. But I know he still really doesn't understand that he's not going to see him or them, either of them anymore. Um, the funny thing is, though, not funny, but we had a memorial for his Papa Frank, which is his dad's dad, yesterday. And DeAndre, we all looked at him because he was rubbing his eyes and like he had tears in his eyes. And I was kind of wondering, did he get what was going on? Because this is the second memorial within a week, because my dad's was the Saturday before. So I was kind of wondering, does he kind of understand or I don't know. But that's the focus topic. If any of you guys have anything you can throw out there to help me help him to understand what's going on, I would really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the thing I say, of course, people have all kinds of different beliefs about death. So that's one part of the thing why you can't give one size fits all advice on this. But one thing I say is, you know, uh, be honest and straightforward, and don't tell the child anything that you don't personally believe. Um, that's one thing I would say. Um, and I remember when my maternal grandfather died, and I didn't really know either. I didn't really know him very well. Thing is, of course, because we lived a good 1,000 kilometers away from our grandparents, probably a little more than that even, and so it was a 3 days drive to go see them. We only saw our grandparents and the rest of the extended family on our summer vacations. So it wasn't someone who was a constant fixture in my life, but still, I knew that, I had met him, I had been acquainted with him, and now, okay, what does this mean that he died? And where do dead people go? And Mom said, well, they put them in the cemetery, and I still didn't really get it. And the main thing though that bothered me, and I know with you know with a lot of neurotypically, is what bothers them is they think, well, am I going to lose my mother or my father anytime soon? But me, it was the fact, the implication for my own mortality. I'm not
Okay.
going to continue living forever.
Mm-hmm. But did you got it though? You
Yeah,
understood.
I got it, and I also, was concerned, what did he die from? Well, he died from Parkinson's disease, and he had Parkinson's disease at a time when, now they have treatments for it that don't cure it, but they slow its progress greatly. So
Okay.
usually the person ends up dying from some other cause before you would get to the point where the Parkinson's disease would take him out. But, now it was about, let's see, it was about 4 years later that my other grandfather, and this is a long story, but we called my father's parents Uncle Charlie and Aunt Jenny. We didn't call them Grandpa and Grandma. They didn't want to be called Grandpa and Grandma. And there's a long story behind that. But in any case, and this happened right after they'd come to visit us in Connecticut, and then they went back to Michigan where they lived, and then he was eating lunch just a few days later, eating lunch with some business associates, and he got up at the end of lunch. He got up from the table and abruptly fell over, massive cerebral hemorrhage. He died 12 days later in the hospital without ever regaining consciousness. Um, and so that was sudden, and I was a lot closer to him though, because he loved kids the most of all four of the grandparents. And I remember his taking me around, showing me the sites around where they lived in Corona, Michigan, and showing me the courthouse and pointing out because I asked about the jail, and he pointed out the jail cells in the top floor of the courthouse, and showing me around things, and taking me to Durand, which is my favorite spot in that area because they had a big rail yard there, and I love trains. But
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, with DeAndre, he knew and was really close to both his grandpas. His dad's dad has been bedridden for maybe 10 years now, but he went over there weekly, and that was his papa. Now, my dad, when I say he lost a big part of his support circle. My dad was always the one, when he asked for tacos, it was Papa bringing him tacos, or his hands, DeAndre's hands, Papa would have a fix for it and made sure he was okay, or pick him up from school when he goes over there. He made sure his hair was good. He made sure he took him to the park in the summertime and did the little exercises with him. So um yeah, I've gotten some suggestions about the social stories. I'm gonna try that, but I'm not really sure he'll get it. I don't know what I'm looking for, but just to so he knows not to, just go looking for him. I even got the speech therapist. She's gonna help with the social stories um for that. Because when somebody is a big part of your life, and then and I know how I felt deep down inside, and I know my baby has feelings. So I want him to understand. Um, you know, it just breaks my heart that I can't just say, DeAndre, uh, Papa Frank, Papa Herman, they're gone, and he gets it. So
Now,
I mean,
was he aware? And I said that his paternal grandfather was bedridden for years. So did he understand that his paternal grandfather was seriously sick, and that's why he was always in bed?
no, I'm really not sure he understood. All he knew was, Papa Frank was always either sitting up in the chair or in the bed, every time he went to
Yeah,
visit him.
but
So I'm
that's
not.
one thing. Perhaps you could explain to him that he had a sickness that had lasted for years, and finally, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can try that. Let's see what we have going on here. Beth said, hope Linda feels better. Yes, me too.
I hope so too. Yeah.
We got those little flu bugs and everything going around. So sad, sad. So sorry for you and both families. Thank you, Foxy. I've had the same thing when our aunt that we spent every summer with passed right before this past Thanksgiving. It was so hard to explain it to Raymond. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. My son was 9 years old when his grandfather died, and he took it the hardest. How did you? How were you able to explain it to him, Teresa? What methods did you use? His therapist just said to use as simple an explanation as possible. I explained it to Raymond. Like you said, he's not here anymore, but she's in heaven with our doggy Mikey. Oh, I didn't want to get too deep because, my opinion, I don't want to take that innocence away. Okay, because I don't think he needs to be worrying about death or scare him. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. Hey, Michelle. We just had to be blunt with Jaden and my brother losing my mom in 2020 and a sister and brother in 2021. So sorry for your loss, too. I am not my brother. I am not my brother. My brother gets it how we think he should, but he gets it in his own way, I guess. Okay. Did you want to add something, Mr. Charles?
Yeah, and it's the thing. Of course, grandparents. Besides the fact that my daughter is not on the autism spectrum, and she now we know that she has ADHD, but that didn't really prevent her from understanding things. But besides that, there's the fact that she had all her grandparents until let's see, I'm trying to think how old. In 2006, it was my dad died. It was the first of her grandparents to die, and at that point, Dorothy was 33 years old. So
Okay.
Dorothy was a full-grown adult when she lost the first of her grandparents. So that um, now she did know her great grandfather. But even with him, she was 11 years old when he died. So
Oh, wow. That's a blessing to have your great grands.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beth said there is a book, Understanding Death and Illness, a guide to help those with autism. Okay, I'll definitely have to check that one out. Thank you, Beth. Would it help to get him a bear or a question with maybe a shirt from Papa on it? Something to hold. Now, he has a shirt with him and Papa. Um, Actually, he has a lot of things that, were given to him from Papa. So, I mean, I'm probably a help when I talk to him about it. But yeah, that's an idea. Hey
Hi,
Lizzie,
Lizzie.
how are you? How's the baby? I know the last time you were here, you broke the news to us that you were pregnant. How's the baby? How's it going? What about Build a Bear with their voices? Oh, that's an idea. But I would still have to let them know why that voice is in there. But yeah, that's a good idea. The baby's good. Oh, that's
Very
awesome.
good.
Very good. How far along are you now? Uh, Neither my grandfather passed in 2017. ABA therapists created a social that incorporated our beliefs. Honestly, we are still dealing with it today. Okay. Sorry for your grandfather's passing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's an idea too. But the speech therapist, um, she's working on a plan from our last therapy last Thursday. So I guess she's gonna put together um a type of social story for him for his next session. So hopefully that'll help out. 8 weeks. Congratulations.
You mean first trimester, so just eight
Uh,
weeks into the
yeah.
pregnancy. Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
Oh, we're gonna have a little Kate running around here. What are you hoping for, a boy or a girl? So besides that, everybody, I'd like to thank everybody who offered their condolences and thoughts and prayers. I'm doing a little better, much better than I would say a couple weeks ago. I was a mess, but I am doing much better. But I want to thank you all. Now, let's moving on. How's everybody? What have you guys been up to? What's the latest and the greatest, or not so great? Teresa says I sat him down and told him that his grandfather was in the hospital and he did not survive the surgery. Okay. I also told him that he will not be receiving any more gift cards from his grandfather. I told him that his grandfather went to be with Jesus. Okay. Okay. Well, it's good he grasped, you know, that. Um, I know he took it hard, but it's good he understood. We got approved for our nonprofit inspirational experiences and our sister Easter Bunny. Awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations on both. You'll have to come up and share maybe next time when everything, or once you get it all together, you'll have to come up and share with us what's going on with the sensitive bunny and what is it, Easter bunny. um I know you've had a lot going on, but have you been able to ask about? No, 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 that I haven't been able to do any of that. But I that's good thing, good thing. Let me get my pencil right now. My pen. Glad you brought that up. I'm gonna write all this down. I know Danielle um gave some information for that too. Or was it the night to shine? Night to shine. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's on the list. I think when you sit down with him, you will just have to follow your heart. Yeah. When you knowing him and how he can handle things, you will be able to go with what you need to tell him. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You're right, Michelle. Daniel was angry, then sad, confused. I took him to the cemetery. He stomped on the grave and tried to wait. Oh, I know
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
heartbreaking. Yeah, I know that was heartbreaking. Thanks. You're welcome. Okay, awesome. But congratulations again on everything. The baby, the nonprofit, the Easter bunny. Congratulations. That's awesome. Yes, I
Here's
know you.
something too
Yes.
that I'll say about this, and that's, um, just thinking about this, that, when you have a child, has difficulty understanding certain concepts, and sooner or later that somebody is going to die, somebody that
Yeah.
means something to the child is going to die. So, you know, there's always stories in the news about somebody dying, and so perhaps that could be an opportunity to be proactive when there's something on the news about somebody dying. Do you understand what that means? And when they said so and so died, whether he died a natural death or was killed or something, you say, do you know what that means? They said three people were killed in a car crash. Do you know what that means? And you can, and that gives you a chance to be proactive, explaining death when it doesn't involve someone who's close to the child.
Okay. Give them a understanding so they see it or hear about it. Do you understand? Just like he can tell me, he'll say, so happy. When he's excited about something, he'll say, so happy. So I guess, I can say, what would you feel if, um, you hear somebody died or you see this on TV? What feeling would you get for this or something like that, maybe?
Yeah, even just what does that mean when they say, when they say that, for example, they say that Pope Francis, whoever was the previous pope, died. What does that mean when they say that he died?
Okay.
They have the news story about that. What does it mean? And you can talk to the child about that. Um, you know, all right, very good, Michelle.
All right. Yes. Uh, that says my grandson, now 6, now gets upset if even a drop of water is on his pants. Oh, wow. He gets wet, even a little, the clothes come off. So frustrating. Help. Has anybody else dealt with something like this? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
well,
know some people, even when they get a little spot or something, on their clothes.
well, for
Yeah.
one thing, you can show how you react when something gets on your clothes. When a little bit of water gets on your clothes.
Hmm. Cynthia says, can you use a tea towel as a bib? That can help. Yeah. During the height of the pandemic, I showed him a funeral stream on YouTube to help guide him through the process. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and that's being proactive.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking like that. The thought was just, oh my God, how do I explain this to him? You know, yeah. But I'll definitely, those are good suggestions. Um, Definitely use those too. It is something I still deal with 11 years old. I am not sure they grow out of it. Yeah, yeah.
A lot of things, though, that, compulsions like that, like a drop of water on pants, something child will suddenly snap out of. Me, a lot of things I suddenly snapped out of one day. Um, for several years, I refused to use a fork to eat food because I didn't like the holes that forks made in food. And one day, I was about 9 years
I
old,
still can't
suddenly
get over
snapped out
that.
of it. And then I decided that spoons were for babies, and I insisted on eating everything with a fork. I must have made exceptions for things like soup, but even ice cream, I know I would eat with a fork.
Mm.
And
Ice
it
cream,
wasn't,
Mr. Charles.
yeah, even ice cream I ate with a
Ice
fork.
cream with a
Yeah,
fork.
that's right. Yeah, but finally, I think I finally snapped out of that when I was, in my junior or senior year in high school, somewhere around the time I started drinking coffee and
Okay.
using a spoon to stir the coffee. Then that's when I think I snapped out of that.
Okay. Oh, the bib. Okay. But if his pants get a little wet, he does it. Rain, drops of milk. Oh, wow. He just doesn't want to get wet. Wow.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as a matter of teaching, there's a difference between uh, pants getting wet from external things falling on them and wetting your pants. They're not the same thing. The one, you need to change them, but the other, uh, it'll dry and the pants are fine.
Oh, you are welcome. You know we're rooting for you. Hey, Sonia. How
Hi,
are you?
Sonia.
How's Queen today? Foxy says, I tried to be honest with Raymond and told him, it's part of life. Everyone dies. And he freaked out and said, No, I want to stay here with you, mommy. Oh, needless to say, that was the end of that conversation because it broke my heart. Yeah. We have it so difficult, and it's sad that a lot of people don't have a clue if what we go through with our loved ones. Right, right, exactly. Hey, Tanya, how are you?
Hi, Tanya.
Teresa says, yes, my son went through that when he was in kindergarten and he had to change his clothes all the time. I told him if he gets any liquid on his clothes, we will put them in the dryer. Oh, he had that same thing if he got wet. Wow. Wow.
But, yeah, you know, and sometimes too, you can foresee that an issue is going to come up for a child. Like I remember when I was 7 years old, when uh, a couple that had been friends with my parents were getting divorced, and the husband of the couple was going to be coming over to the house with his new girlfriend, and so mom, in the week ahead of time, explained to me about divorce.
Mm,
So I would understand then when I saw him with his new girlfriend.
mm. So, what were your thoughts?
Well, it was just okay. Now I understand. It wasn't really, didn't make me worried about anything. Just okay, but it was good. They let me know what to expect in advance. The mom explained in advance, so I knew what to
Okay.
expect.
Oh my goodness.
Or and other things too. When of course the problem with death is a lot of times you don't expect it.
Oh, right.
You
Yeah,
or
because
it's going to come sooner
my
or later, but
dad's
you don't
was
know when.
unexpected. I mean, as your parents get older, but it was like I was just over there the day before. I just talked to him, I actually took my dog over there so he could see the dog. We talked for a minute. It was like, what happened? What happened? So, I
Yeah.
mean, it was really unexpected.
Well, that's what I mean. It's that you, even when the person has a sickness that you know is going to be terminal, even then you don't know when it's going to happen.
Right, right.
But in a lot of cases, though, with your father, it was sudden. You didn't know. You didn't have any clue that he had just days left to live.
Right, right. So Tanya says my husband eats ice cream with a fork too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
um, some days I refuse to use a fork. Some days hands are just easier. Dig in.
Well, I remember other kids yelling at me in school because at school lunches, that's where it really became a problem because they provide the utensils that they think are appropriate for the food that's served. And so if there's nothing that you eat with a spoon, normally they didn't give us any spoons. And so I would eat with my hands. And other kids would be saying, eat with a fork, not with your hands. But
He loves to swim, but swim. I can imagine. Oh no, Sammy, not the face, Sammy, not the face. Um, I technically have 2 days left, not counting externship and test. Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay. You're moving right along, right along.
yeah. All right.
One of my fears, anxiety is me eventually passing away. I worry my grandson will feel like I do. I worry about that too. Um, and we're gonna have to have a conversation about that again. I believe we talked about this before. What'll happen? What is our plan A, B, and C when we leave this earth? What will happen to our loved ones? I mean, does everyone have a plan A, B, and C? Um, Try placing a large bath towel and double it up like a napkin. Oh, okay, for the water drops.
Yeah, that's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
But this business of being proactive about things that are going to rise. I remember um, it was of course, back in those days, you didn't know the gender of the baby until it was born, and
Right.
so it was right after my sister was born. That's when my dad took me aside and explained to me the difference between the anatomy of men and boys versus women and girls, because he knew that I would see Jenny, see mom changing Jenny's diaper, and so he let me know ahead of time, that girls have are are physically different from boys, and then so that way when I saw mom changing Jenny's diaper, I wasn't surprised at what I didn't see.
Mm-hmm. You understood then.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
that
see.
was at the time I was 2 going on 3 when Jenny was born.
I find being open to my parents quite difficult, and I don't feel safe being open to them due to their aggressive and mean tone, which is already planted to my mind. Insert the fact that they don't accept me as autistic despite being. So have you lived with your parents all your life and they don't accept you? Is that what you're saying? Has it always been this way, Ronald?
Yeah, that is sad, when
Yeah.
parents don't
Yeah.
accept what their child is.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Or maybe you are taking it wrong. Maybe they're trying to help you and
But yeah, I mean, what he said, it sounds as though they're not even accepting the fact that he's autistic.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, in contrast, I look at when I first began to suspect it, after I watched the movie Rain Man, which my daughter had been urging me to watch, and I called my mom. Next time I talked to my mom, I told her, this may sound crazy, but, and I told her what I suspected. And she said she didn't think it was crazy at all. She thought it made sense. And I got the same reaction from my sister. I'm not sure if my dad was as accepting of it as mom and my sister, mom and Jenny were, but um, still, any case, though, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
That's the thing. Of course, my parents had always been trying to get answers when I was growing up. And early on, three different mental health professionals found three different ways to blame my mom for the social difficulties I was having.
Okay.
Of course, that was back when Freud was revered by the psychiatric branch of the medical profession. And his philosophy was, when in doubt, blame the mother.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he was a blatant sexist.
I see. Queen is good. She is being very responsible with leaving for the bus on time, taking care of her.
Very
Oh,
good.
she has a gecko. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Really? Wow. And using her words more. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Progress is always good. And she has a pet to be responsible for. So she has
Yeah.
a little responsibility. That's good.
Now,
That's
is
good.
that a Geico gecko?
Gecko.
Yeah.
Basically, as Mr. Charles stated, we know each child has their own individual response. Follow your heart, even though it's hurting. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Same thing with my aunt Nita. My uncle was the one that just had heart surgery, and we were actually expecting for him not to make it. And she stayed in the hospital with him through it all. And when he was okay to go home, she was the one that passed only 2 days. Oh, wow. So,
Wow.
so
Yeah, I can imagine.
yeah, yeah. It's some when you don't expect it, it's like, wow. Last Friday morning, my son got injured. Oh no, what happened
Too
now,
bad.
Teresa? That poor baby has been through it. It wasn't from a bully or anything, was it? I hope he's okay though. I hope whatever happened didn't traumatize him too much. There's a meeting that Raymond's High School is having that will have a lot of speakers about transition to from high school to adulthood. Now it's probably a lot of info for Alabama, but maybe there's some info that everyone can use. Yeah, definitely.
The thing
Definitely.
is, when you're talking uh, uh, guardianship or whatever they call it, because even what they call it varies from state to state. Every state has its own rules, and even the age at which you can apply for it
Yeah,
varies from state to state. And I hate to think of, I mean, what if for some reason, you get transferred in your job, and you live in a state where you can't apply for guardianship till the child is 19, and now your child is 18. You're waiting for that. Now you get transferred to a state where you have to apply for it at age 18, or else your child is free as a bird to do what he wants.
yeah, yeah. That would be some kind of gap. I would hope you would get something temporary, you know, like maybe a limited guardianship until or something. You would hope that being the case, if that was the case, because that is something to think about.
Again, it's something. It's unfortunate that there are some parents who abuse guardianship and would, if they could, use it to control their grown children's lives when their children are capable of running their own lives.
Hmm. Maybe it's only the label. Oh, for Ronald, it's hard from some people to accept labels. Plus, do they truly understand autism?
I suspect from what he said that it's kind of both, but oh yeah, that's right. Asperger's and autism spectrum. I was originally diagnosed with Asperger's, but the terminology has changed, and so uh,
Okay, wait. So you're saying just they're not accepting. They accepted the Asperger's diagnosis, but now that it's being called just autism spectrum disorder, they are not accepting it. Is that what you're saying?
they rejected your plan to go to vocational school, and they want you to go to a traditional 4-year college, and yeah.
How does that change? But how would that change you from going to college? I mean, if you still have the same capabilities, then that label or that diagnosis doesn't matter.
Yeah, it sounds like the matter of insisting you go to college as opposed to vocational school is something they probably would insist on regardless of label, diagnosis, or whatever. It's probably they have this image they want they want their children to be college educated, and regardless of what the kids want,
Yeah,
our kids want to be college educated.
but
But
oh, I see at the end he's saying his plan was to go to vocationals. But how does the Asperger syndrome and autism spectrum disorder come into that? That's what I'm trying to understand.
it strikes me as an excuse on their part for insisting you go to college. It doesn't strike me as a reason. It strikes me as an excuse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is an excuse. I'm sorry you're going through this, Ronald. Daniel is in the nutrition study at WSU, playing basketball on two teams. All right. Oh, he is busy.
Yeah, all right.
Swimming every Friday at school, 2 days per week at uh, Pays Lab, bowling with Miracle League. He's happy and calm. I know you are, but he's doing it. All right, Daniel.
And that, and it's good when a child with autism is able to learn about nutrition, because
Yeah.
one of the problems we have is picky eating. It's common to a lot of us. A lot of course, not so much me as an adult, especially as a senior now. Um, I tell people there are three things I'll eat just about anything with just three exceptions: grapefruit because it conflicts with my medications, tomatoes because they're gross, and quiche because real men don't eat that stuff. It takes all the hair off our chests.
Mr. Charles. Oh my goodness. No, it was not from bullying. Okay. He tripped on the steps and oh, poor
Oh wow.
baby. Oh,
Ooh.
hard and
Yeah.
don't have bloody no. Oh, well, I hope he's all better. Big
Yeah.
hugs. I hope he's all better. Yeah, she made the honor roll, and my mom got her the gecko. Another mouth.
Oh, very good. Good for her.
Honor
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. We have Wichita. We
All
have
right.
Wayne State University here.
Yeah, that's right.
WS.
Wayne State University. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've heard about that when I was at Michigan State. So yeah.
The best thing about the WSU study is they include the entire family in nutrition, education, and fitness. So it has, okay. That's awesome. I hopefully I can start. Well, I'm gonna try to get DeAndre involved in a little more activities. He's been doing, well, they don't start back swimming till I think she said March. So they kind of stopped for the winter. They go bowling with the class goes bowling every other week. And since he's not seeing his Maya anymore, he doesn't do as many activities as he was. But I'm thankful for his teacher and um, getting him with his OT and speech. But yeah, I got to get DeAndre, getting him more busy. He needs to release some more energy. It's just too bad. I'm just so hurt that the Special Olympics, we signed up for everything, and it's just too far for us to get there. I think she said it was a couple days a week for practice, but it's just too far, especially being after work, going and coming. But this summer, I'm on it. And I'm definitely gonna check out the prom. But the nutrition thing, I need to be on board with that. Definitely.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think you're using it as an excuse. They're using it as an excuse. Your
huh?
parents are using it as an excuse
Oh,
for telling you what to do. But it has nothing to do with autism or not. It's I think they've just decided they want their children to be college educated, and you're going to go to college whether you like it or not. I think that's what they've decided. Yeah, and
yeah. In the
you know,
long run, yeah, they should be helping you decide, or you should be able to decide where you want to go and what you are comfortable with.
but one thing you can do though is you can in choosing your major and what courses you're going to take at college, if they do insist you go to college, you can treat college as if it were a vocational school.
Mhm.
Pick courses related to what area you want to work in, and then do things that way, and so that's one thing you can do with college.
Tanya says, I got scared recently. My son was limping out of school, but turns out his foot, oh, his foot was just asleep. Oh yeah. That's that's no fun when your foot falls asleep. Thank God it was just that. I was ready for war. Oh yeah. I can imagine. I bet it is hard for children with autism to understand where heaven is. I mean, we stay up there, up in heaven. They probably look up into the sky, wondering if they can see them up there. I know my grandson is so literal that I'm sure he'd wonder. I tell him I love him way up high to the sky. He looks up and then down at himself like, no, grandma, I'm not way up high. Oh, yeah. I'm
And
sorry.
again, people
Uh,
have different
yeah.
beliefs about death, and
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
what
Yeah.
you explain has to be whatever
Mhm. Yeah,
you
because like in
really believe.
my situation is they're in heaven. They're up there. So yeah, but I'm taking everything in. The suggestions are all good though. I'm sorry, Nita, but I understand about travel, the distance after a long day. They are about to open registration for Miracle League baseball. Now, where is that? Is that in Southfield, the baseball? Yeah, I follow Danielle. I'll be all over the place with
Yeah,
DeAndre.
so she's in the Detroit area too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Southfield.
yeah. She got her baby going on. See, I got to get up there. But the good thing is, I have exactly one more year. Well, the end of this year, but with a month. and then I'm retired. So I will be freed up all the time in the world. I'm looking forward to that too. Yeah. Okay, so we're coming to an end, but the floor is open. I'm going to put the link up. If anybody wants to come up and share something inspirational, if you have a business you want to share with our community, you're selling trinkets, you can have an organization, you're doing an event. Of course, it has to be related to autism. You are more than welcome to come on up now and share that with us. Or if you just want to come up and say hi. Okay, Miracle League has a field in Southfield and a league in Lake Orion. Okay, yeah, Southfield would be my best bet.
Yeah.
Okay. I told Queen her godmother and my father are resting with God. Yes, you will see them again. Yep, yep. Eventually, you will be there again to see them. I need an early congrats. Yes, 30 years. I will have 30
Yeah.
years in
All right.
September. Yep. So I'm making big plans. By the end of this year, it's over. Yes.
All right.
Thank you. And I'll have more time to dedicate to autism, and it's a beautiful thing.
All right.
Uh,
So how's the game going, Michelle?
Michelle yelling at the TV.
What's the score right now? I know the
It
Eagles are
must
going
not be
to the Super
good.
Bowl. How's
Must not be good for
how's
her.
the AFC game going?
Yes, 30 years. September 13th, 1993 is when I started. So, yes. Whew, seemed like yesterday. And the funny thing is, I look at all the kids coming in now and ask myself, was I like that when I started? Did I act like that? Ooh. Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
And I think about how different the whole field of data processing, how much it changed from when I started my 45-year career in the as computer software engineer.
Right.
Started out as a computer
Started out on a typewriter, didn't you?
when I finished. Yeah. Well, the start, the key punched cards and so on, and just the whole thing. And mainframe was all that existed. There was no such thing as the distributed world.
Okay.
Eagles, well, Eagles beat the 49ers, that I know, but I'm curious about the AFC game, which I think Michelle or somebody was watching.
Yeah, Michelle's fussing. She probably still fussing. Michelle. Um, so the floor is open. You guys, we have a few minutes left. If you want to come up for anything, if you want to just come up and show your face, that would be awesome. You are more than welcome. My youngest is 23. Just started driving a semi. Wow,
All
I
right.
get scared. Mom's still telling him how to be careful. Yeah, I'm scared of semis, but I'm sure he'll do great as long um, as he follows the rules of the road. Yeah, those things are too big for me.
Yeah, yeah. I can't imagine driving one. I'm sure if my daughter had wanted to be a truck driver, sure she could have been good at that too. Of
Mhm.
course, as a lot of people know, her when she was a little girl, her main ambition in life was to be a woman driver, and she recognized that ambition the day after she turned 16.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
she's a professional photographer now,
Oh,
and
she went away
yeah.
from that path. Okay,
But
Danielle says, everyone have a great week. Hug your loved ones. Yes. Yes. Hug your
you
loved
too,
ones a
Danielle.
little longer and be kind to yourself. Yes. Thank you, Danielle. Oh, here's Michelle.
Casey
Okay.
is winning. All right.
Three
Okay.
to 13. Half Halftime.
Okay,
2 minute
yeah,
warning.
okay.
Oh, the
You want to be a
youngsters.
truck driver also? Okay,
Ooh, yeah, I'm too scared of those things. I don't know how they do it, but I guess it's being done.
yeah. Well, you wanted to be large Marge.
Large Marge.
Uh, she was a truck driver in a movie some
Oh,
years back.
okay. It's the others on the road that are scary. Cement thrown through my husband's sip. Ooh, oh my
Uh,
goodness. Danielle says she'll drive anything. All right now. Okay. So since no one wants to come up, um, oh, that's where that came from. Pee Wee Big Adventures.
okay, that's where large Marge came from. Okay,
Suggestions to get on the same page. Have a great week, everyone.
you too, Cynthia.
You
And
too.
by the way, I'm married to a Cynthia.
Okay. Oh, one more here. Wish me luck about your yo cut son's hair. About
Okay, hope it
your
goes well.
oh, your
Uh,
son's haircut. Okay. Hope it goes well. Two households. Oh, two house. That's what you're saying. Suggestions to get on the same page with two households. I'm thinking that's what you're saying.
not sure. Yeah.
Maybe that's something we can talk about next week, Cynthia. Okay, so we'll make that a discussion for next week. Suggestions on how both households can be on the same page. I'm in sort of that situation also where we had to get on the same page. So, yeah, that'll be a good discussion for next week. Thank
Okay.
you, Beth. I appreciate that. And for the rest of you, have an awesome, awesome rest of the evening. I'm getting ready to go drink a little more coffee and then relax. Thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next week, we'll see you then. Thank you, everybody. See you
Good
next
night,
week.
everyone.
Good night.